So today, guys, we are discussing the actual CUET paper that is for business studies. So let's look at the questions one by one. Okay. So the very first question that came is find the correct sequence of the needs as per given by the Maslow's in the need hierarchy theory. So when we talk about this question, we know that we have to go from the basic needs towards the upper one. So the very first is what? Your psychological needs. So when we talk about the psychological needs, the next come that is your security needs. Then is your self-belongingness. Then is your esteem needs. And last but not the least is your self-actualization needs. So here the correct sequence will be B, A, D, and C. That is option 3, which is correct. Then the second question is dash is a process of influencing the behavior of people by making them strive voluntarily towards achievement of the organization's goal. So when we are talking about influencing the behavior, that means taking these people towards one direction, and that one direction is what? That is achieving the organizational goals or organizational objectives. So when we talk about this, that is the process of influencing the behavior of people by making them voluntary style towards the achievement of the organizational goals. That means taking these people in the organization towards one direction, that is attainment of the organizational goals or organizational objectives. So here the answer is option C, that is leadership. Then you have to match the column. On one side, you are given with certain process of staffing, and on the side, you are given with the definitions. So when we talk about the selection process, the selection process is what? Choosing the most appropriate candidate. Orientation is what? Introduction to the superiors. Recruitment is searching for the prospective candidates. And then we have training, that is learning the new skills. So we talk about A1, B2, then we have D3, and then C4. So in this, which one is correct? That is one with A, second with B, third with D, and with C. Then moving on, which of the following is a process of assignment or inducing the subordinates to act in a desired manner? As we have already discussed the keywords, that means somebody is offering you something as a financial incentive or non-financial incentive in order to fulfill the things that you want to achieve in the future. That is the desire that you have for taking this. So that is what? That is your motivation. Then which of the following is not a limitation of controlling costly affair? We all know that small enterprises are not able to afford the controlling system, resistance from employees, ensure order, discipline, and little control on the external factors. So ensure order and discipline is one of the importance of controlling, not the limitation. So here the answer is option 3. Then analyze, you have to identify the correct sequence of controlling. So it's very easy again. First, it is measurement of your actual performance. Once you are making up the actual performance, but before that, you have to set certain standards again, which you are going to measure your actual performance with. So setting of standards, that is option C. Measurement of actual performance, that is B. Then you have the next one, that is your comparison of actual performance with the standards. And why are you doing so? To take out the deviation. So it will be C, B, D, and A. That is option 4, which is correct in this case. So only a 5% in the labor cost may be more troublesome than 15% increase. Again, the example that is quoted by or quoted from NCERT, and we also have discussed it. Like we were discussing that one thing, that is critical point control, where you people have to focus on the key result areas rather than to control everything. So answer here is what? Critical point control. Then identify the function performed by the financial market from the following statement. The holders of an asset can readily sell their financial assets through the mechanism of financial market. Now I have assets in my hand and I need cash. What I'll do, and that assets is a marketable security for an example. And I need money. So when I need money, what I'll do, I'll approach stock exchange, find a potential buyer who's ready to take my shares from me, and return will pay me the money. So that is providing liquidity to the financial assets. That is how fast we can convert them into cash. Then if any parties are not satisfied by the order of dash, they can appeal against the state commission on the grounds within the period of 45 days. So we all know when we have to go from district to state, it is 45. State to national, it is 30. Again, national to Supreme Court, that is 30. So answer here is what? District Commission. Identify the importance of consumer protection, that is business organizations make money by selling goods and providing services to the customers. Thus, customers or consumers form an important group among the many stakeholders of the business. And like stakeholders, the interest has to be well taken care of. That whatever that you are getting in your business related to your raw materials, related to the employment, you are getting everything from the society. So it is your social obligation to fulfill that requirement. So answer here is option C, that is social responsibility. Identify the consumer right, freedom to access. Now, when we talk about on the behalf of Consumer Protection Act 2019, that is right to be assured. That is right to be choose. That the consumer should have access to the variety of products, and it is his will that which product he has to choose. That is, the marketer should not force him to purchase any particular product. Then identify the methods of flotations wherein the sell securities en bloc at an agreed price to the broker. As we have already discussed that what is offer for sale. For an example, an organization sells their shares to a broker who further sells it to the general public. So this is how it works, like the broker who is purchasing the shares from the organization directly at a market price, which is or at a price which is less than the market price. So this broker purchases it from the company and further sell it to the general public. Suppose he has purchased the shares for 90 or 80 rupees, he might sell it to the general public for like 100 or 110. So answer for this is offer for sale. Then again, right to command, obligation to perform task, accountability, and basis of management hierarchy. So when we talk about right to command, that is authority. Then we have obligation to perform, that is your responsibility. C, accountability, that is your answerability, and basis of management hierarchy, that is your delegation. So the answer is 3, 4, 1, and 2. So option 4 is correct in this case. Then identify the correct sequence of organizing function of management. We all know, like first is identification and division of work. First, you have identified, then you are going to do the departmentalization of that, that is grouping them to the similar department. Then you are going to assign the duties. And last but not the least, that is establishing the reporting relationship. So identification is C. Then you have departmentalization, D and A. So that is C, B, D, and A, which is the correct answer. Then the formal organization can be better understood by study of its features. It specifies that the relationship among the job positions, that who is to report to whom. So this is correct. It means to achieve the objectives, that is created for only achieving the objectives. That is what is the rules and procedures. That independent channels, no, it is deliberately. So answer is A, B, and D. Then informal organization offers many benefits. Important among them are given below. Prescribed lines of communications are followed. It helps to fulfill the social needs, contributes toward fulfillment of organizational objectives by compensating for the inadequacies, unity of command. So which one is correct? That is B and then identify the correct sequence of trading and settlement procedure. So we all know that which one is correct. Very first is the investor has to sign a broker client agreement. Then he has to open a demat account. Then he's going to go and check the prices, or let's say he'll place an order. Then he'll get an order confirmation slip. And once he has placed the order, the shares are kept in the card. He's going to match the prices. Whenever he finds out that this is the least or the least price that of this particular share that can happen, he is going to place the order. So that is A, B, C, and D. The market where existing securities are bought and sold, that is secondary market, that is also referred to as stock exchange. Then the qualities of a successful entrepreneur does not include initiative, self-confidence. They are for the wealth, that is with the social gain, and they are risk avoider. No, they are the risk take. Then identify the function performed by SEBI. It controls insider trading, takeover bids, and imposes penalty. That means they are doing the protective function. And what is protective function? To protect the interests of the people who have invested in the stock exchange. This can be done by controlling the insider trading practices, imposing penalties for such practices. And financial management aims at choosing the best investment and financing alternatives by focusing on their cost, and benefits. So we have discussed the basic objective of financial management is to what? To increase the shareholders' wealth. Then a proper matching of funds requirements and their availability is thought to be achieved by what? Financial planning. And what is financial planning? That is the blueprint of the organization, that how are the funds that will be managed with the organization's operation. So what are the two objectives of financial planning? The very first is that the availability of funds are there, and the second is there is no idle funds that is kept. Then debt is cheaper but is more riskier. We all know that when we have to issue shares in the capital market, or when we have to issue shares in the secondary market, we have to incur a cost, that is flotation cost. So compared to that flotation cost, debt is cheaper. But how is it riskier? Because of the fixed obligation that you have to pay. So it is cheaper and risky. Then coordination unifies unrelated interest into purposeful activities. Why? Because all the people who are working in the organization, it integrates their efforts and form it as what? Form it as their group efforts. Then Akash Industries has installed a waste recycling plant in its premises and does not dump their waste material anymore. This plant is providing employment to many people. That is what they are doing for the social objectives. That is not polluting the environment. Eco-friendly methods of production have been installed, and also they are providing the employment opportunities to the people. Then management always works in keeping an end result or aim of the organization. We all know that what is the target this year that we have to achieve. So it is a goal-oriented process. So every person, whether an individual or the organization, always has some end result or the aim for which they are working. Then the key position of top level management is managing director, production manager, middle level, plant supervisor, middle level, and marketing manager, again, middle level. Then talking about the intelligence test, it helps in making the judgment. So it is 4. Aptitude test, measures of, we have indicators of person's capacity to develop. Then you have clues to person's emotions. So let's take personality test first. That is second. Trait test measures your existing skills. So we have aptitude, that is capacity to learn the new skills. So that is 4, 1, 2, and 3. That is option 2, which is correct. Then which of the following are the advantages of the functional structure of the organization? It leads to occupational specialization, then promotes coordination, increases operational efficiency. Then we have a case study, that is Just Foodies, a chain, based on which we have 5 questions. So in this they say that Just Foodies using the variables of marketing mix, you have to identify them. To make their product available to the customers at the right time, right place, they're also selling their products to the grocery store in addition to their own outlets. That means when I am manufacturing somewhere in Delhi and I have a potential customers all over India, I can reach, or my product can reach to these potential customers by the way of transportation, that is physical distribution. Then identify the element, that is the taste, quality, and packing are given utmost care. That means we're taking care of the product mix, where we refer to the what product that we are manufacturing, designing, development, packaging of it, then labeling of it. Everything is done on the product mix. Then what, they are able to charge higher prices than their competitors. Why? Because of the less competition in the market. So when we talk about the higher price, that is the price mix. To increase their sales, they are using the different offers like free gifts, cashbacks, etc. And they're offering discounts to the customers. That means they are informing the customers that this is the product that has come in. So informing the customers about the product is a type of your promotion. Then to increase their sales, they are using different methods like free gifts, cashbacks, refunds, and they're offering discounts. So that means we are talking about the sales promotion. That is the small incentives that is sent or as used as a way of promotion. Then again, a case study is given, that is Indian Oil is the largest commercial organization, top ranked Indian company with a Fortune of Global 500 listing, and there are certain things that is given in them. So Indian Oil is a vision and driven by the dynamic leaders who have made it a name or reckon with over 34,000 strong workforce. It plans to increase its business operations. So when we say plans, that means which function are we talking about? Planning. And how does it do it? By various procedures that is taking place. So identify the function of management, that is your planning. So thinking about that what will be the future prospects, that means present where we are, future where we have to go. Moving on, if the goals are well defined, employees are aware of what the organization has to do, they must do what to achieve these goals. That means it is providing the direction that says I have set a target of my organization to be 1 crore, and I have told everybody in the organization that the work they will do will help me in achievement of this particular goal. So everybody knows at what direction or what target they are going to achieve and what work they have to do to achieve this target. So that it provides direction. Then changes, that we all know that future is unpredictable, cannot be predicted, but with the help of business environment, that is scanning the business environment, we can anticipate the changes that is happening. That means we can get an idea that what can be the changes that can happen. So it reduces the risk of uncertainty. Then managers can look into the future and make a choice from among the various alternative courses of action, that is facilitates decision making. We have lots of opinions, or let's say lots of ways on which by which we can achieve this target, but we have to analyze each one of them and then select the one best way from it. Then identify the principle of management, where Taylor pioneered the introduction of method of scientific inquiry. He says no decision or no method of production should be based on the intuition of the manager. He says you have to include science while making any decision. It has to be scientific. It should have science in it. So that is science, not full of thought. Then we have to match the principles of management with their respective definitions. So we have obedience to the organizational rules, that is your discipline. One boss for every individual, that is your unity of command. One head, one plan, that is unity of direction, and remuneration should be equal, that is remuneration of employees. So 3, 4, 1, and 2, that is your option 4, which is correct in this case. Then aim of which technique given by F.W. Taylor is to reduce a given line of product or to fix size, that is standardization. By standardization and simplification, we reduce the given line of product and specify their fixed type sizes. So by this, I'll get to know that this is an 100 ml bottle. This is a 200 ml box. This is a 500 ml box and further. Then again, stability of personnel, equity, esprit de corps, and scalar change. So employee turnover should be minimized. That is your stability of tenure. That means every person in the organization should be given a fair amount to get stable in the organization and show his performance. Emphasizes kindliness and justice. That is your equity. Then you have chain of authority and communication from top to bottom. That is your scalar chain, and promotes team spirit. That is your esprit de corps. So the correct sequence is 1, 2, 4, and 3. So 1, 2, 4, and 3, that is your option number 3. Then under which dimension of business environment is online booking of air tickets? So when we talk about online booking, that means we are using the use of technology. So it will be a technical dimension, that is technological dimension. Which of the following is an economic environment? Environment economic means anything that is related to your economy. Might be inflation, might be GDP. So constitution of the country, there it is in the political, life expectancy, social, and population shifts, again social. So that is your money supply in the economy. Then which of the following is an example of legal environment? Death and birth ratio? No, that is social. Prevailing political system? Political. Public debt? Again political. So we have only what? That is your Trade Union Act. Anything that is passed through the legislative. So that is option 2. Which of the following does not characterize business environment? We have interrelatedness. That is one factor leading to another. We have totality of external forces, relativity, that is the difference between two states, two countries, two regions, that is market orientation and product. And then we have identify the correct sequence of the planning function. So the first is setting of the objectives. Then you have to develop certain assumptions. Then identifying the alternative courses of action. Once you have identified, you are going to evaluate them, further select, implementation, and follow up. So when I talk about setting, that is A, C, B, and D. So A, C, B, and D, that is option 2, which is correct. Identify the correct sequence of selection process. So we all know the very first is what? That is your selection test that takes place. Once your selection test takes place, then you have the employment interview, that is your informal death conversation. Then you have certain reference checks, and then the selection decision is made. So when I talk about the selection test, that is option C. Then we have option B. Then you have option D and E. So that is your option 4. That is correct. Then it is a joint program of training in which educational institutions and business firms cooperate. Although you are studying in the college, still you want to work in the particular organization. So what is that? That is your internship training. So business studies paper had 50 questions. You only had to attempt 40. So I hope you have made your choices really well.